Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering how we can create readability mode in w3m per site and per section. So what I'm going to do is come across and show you these pages in w3m and show you what the issue is. So these are search results for BBC iPlayer for what we do in the shadows and all the episodes, and also the searching for films, which you can see at the bottom also has pagination. So what I'll do is I'll come across and show you these pages one by one and show you what the issue is and what we can do about it. So w3m, and we'll have a look at this page. And so this is the search results, and you can see I've got to scroll all the way down further and further until we get to this little section here. So this is the actual block that we want, and that corresponds to basically this bit here. So that's all of the web page that we want. So if I come across to this page here that shows the episodes, I'll show you another issue. So also the other thing I want to do is mention on this page, you can see here, there's no link. The link for the video there doesn't have any text in it, and that's because in the HTML it's actually an empty href tag. And so that's one issue. We don't have a link to easily click there that we can see. I toggle this on, you can see there's a link there. So now if I come down to view all episodes, same deal, we've got to scroll all the way down here. Okay, now what you'll see is this section here corresponds to this here. And you see when I hover over here, you'll see we have this come up. We've got the text here, but if we look at it in w3m, you'll see not only is there no link to click, no visible link to click, but the text is repeated twice. So under each section the text is repeated twice, and that's because actually in this HTML they have two tags, one that's hidden, and basically what happens is in w3m it shows up twice. So again, we've got this no link to click that's obvious. We've got this double text. You can scroll down, and as I said, we've got all this crap we've got to scroll through till we actually get to the section we want, which is here. We just want this bit here. So we just basically want this chunk of the page. We don't want the navigation, all this stuff at the bottom. We just want all that. And what I'm going to do is come across to the film section here and show you the same deal. So if I come across, I'll just exit this and link. So scroll down till we finally get to this, and we've got the same issue, no visible link. I've got to scroll down, and then we've got the pagination at the bottom, so we can go to the next page and everything. What I'm going to do is show you how we can clean this up and make it a lot more usable, and I'm going to do that with the w3m siteconfig. And what I'm doing is I've got two new scripts, and basically what I'm doing is, first of all, I'm matching the iplayer search, so iplayer search, and then I'm going to run a CGI script when I match those URLs, and also the BBC episodes. So the episodes are the, if I come across here, you can see episodes, this is the URL, iplayer episodes, and the episodes. And then we also have the search. We've got the two URLs. We're going to first search for this URL, the search, and also we're going to search for the episodes. And when we do that, we're going to basically run two scripts. So now I've got these uncommented, I'm going to do the same thing and browse to the same URLs and show you the difference. So first of all, let's come across to this search result page. w3m. Bang. Look at that. How nice is that? What we've done is we've now just pulled out this chunk of the page. Not only that, we have inserted a play link. Now the other thing I should mention is the way we're doing this is we're actually capturing the code, the HTML, processing it, and we're saving it to a local text file. Now, one issue is the links in iPlayer are relative links, they're not the full link. So what we're doing is using some sed to actually prepend the domain so that the link is actually the full link here. So if I come across and inspect this element, I can find the actual link. You can see here, href iPlayer episodes. Yeah, so it hasn't got the domain on. So when we're using a local web page with this code in, we need to have the full URL. So that's one thing. So that's how this works. Now what happens is I can come across to the view all episodes. And the other thing I want to mention here is you can see this first item here got play, but this second item, which isn't available, doesn't have play. So we know we don't have a play link for something that's not available. Now what I'm going to do is come across to the view all episodes page. So this was the site and this was the search page, the search URL. Now I'm going to come across to the episodes and let's see what we've done with that. So we'll come across to the episodes, bang. Straight to where we want it. Stripped out all the crap, comedy, what we do in the shadows, series 1 and 2. And look, we've got the play button, got the play link, and no duplicate text. So remember previously, when we look at this in w3m, I showed you that each thing had the text repeated twice because that's the way it was in the HTML. And what we've done is we've stripped that out. So we've just got the link here. And as I said, I've got a keyboard shortcut. I can bring this up. I can open this video full screen on second monitor, open it on the current display, download, copy the URL, pipe the audio to MPD. But also I've got this set up with a CGI script so that I can actually just click play. I can just press return on these links and it's automatically going to open this display. I'm not going to do that for sort of copyright reasons and stuff. But basically what we've now got is just that. That's all the page. Let's go straight to it and let's come to the second series. So show you that actually navigating these links, bang, second series. Got all the links. So what we'll do now is we'll come across to the films. So what I'm going to do is search for iPlayer films. Okay, so this is this page here. Got the pagination at the bottom. Come across and see how it looks in w3m. We can easily tab between these so we can play. We can view all episodes. I'll go and say view all episodes. Bang, takes me to that. I can go back a page. See, we're just viewing the same HTML page. I can go back a page and I can come down to the bottom and all the pagination works as well. So watch what happens when I go to the second page. Bang. Strips out all the crap. Showing search results for films. Got the links we can just tab to, view all episodes. Shows you exactly what you want without all the other crap going on. So how did we do that? So let's come across and have a look at the actual code and how we get this to work. So first of all, what we're doing is we're using the siteconfig to match particular URLs and then run a CGI script. So first of all, we've got this iPlayer search question mark, and that runs the BBC search.cgi script. And again, that is got the search results page. So that's the search results. And then we have the episodes. And the way iPlayer works is the overview of the episodes is on /episodes. But the actual URL you can see is episode and then a string of text. So that's what we've got. We've got two URLs, search and episodes. So let's come back to Emacs. So that's what we're matching, the iPlayer search and the iPlayer episode. So now what we need to do is have a look at these scripts. So CGI bin, and what I'll do is, first of all, I'll open the search. Okay, so this took some figuring out. So basically, what we're doing, first of all, is we've got a base URL, which is bbc.co.uk iplayer search question mark. Now, the thing that had me stumped for a while was what we're doing is we're submitting a search and a query, and w3m has built-in variables for stuff like w3m current link, w3m URL, which corresponds to the page you're on. And what I was trying to do was use those variables, and it wasn't working. And what I remembered was got blue did a magnet. Here we go. He's got a magnet. He's got a script for sending magnet links to transmission, and he's using this variable that I hadn't come across called query string in w3m, and basically that's the search query string. So like question mark and then whatever you were searching for, films or whatever. So that was the first thing I had to figure out, was the query string that we're passing to this. So what we're doing is we're creating, using the base URL and our query, we're creating a new variable called URL, which is going to contain both the base URL and the query to create, bbc.co.uk iplayer search question mark films, what we do in the shadows or whatever. So now we've got a URL that contains the search. It's going to correspond to this. So that variable is going to correspond to this URL in this page. So the next thing that we're going to do is, the way we're doing this is we're using a suite of tools called html-utils. And these tools are for manipulating HTML in scripts and on the command line. And it comes with a suite of tools, and some of the tools we've got hxselect and hxprune. Now, first of all, what we're doing is we're running hx normalize -x and then the URL, and that basically makes sure that it sort of formats the HTML nicely. We're then piping it into this next tool, which is hxselect, and you can see here we're using this -s option, new line, and -c, and this variable CSS. And what this does is this CSS variable corresponds to a CSS selector. So that variable corresponds to div list.search dash list.facets. And basically that is, if I come across here, inspect element, what we're doing is we want to basically select this bit of page. Yeah, we want to select search results. We don't want all that. So what we're doing is we come across opening the inspector, inspect element, and we can then come across and see what we want to actually select. So you can see here, this one here, list search facets, is that the one? And just coming back across, div list search list facets, I think that's the one. So basically what we're doing is, first of all, we're selecting this chunk of the page using a CSS selector. Okay, the next step is we're also wanting to exclude a bit of the page as well. And within this selection here, we don't want this search bar, because we're using surfraw. So we've got a surfraw elvi for iplayer, which I made, which will basically let us search iplayer, so we don't need this, and it doesn't actually work when we're using a local file. So we want to remove that. So what we're doing is, here we search for, we create another variable called search, and that's going to correspond to search list header. Let me just come across search list header. You can see that here. So that's a div let me just switch back. What you can basically do is you just come across here, select this, copy CSS Selector, and paste that in there. You can see search list underscore header. So that's what we want to exclude. So we create this variable, and the format is we remove the dot. So normally it'd be like the CSS select would be like div dot search, this text. We removed the dot from the class name, so we just got this bit here. Then what we're doing is we're using hxprune with the -c option and the search variable which corresponds to that piece of CSS. So we're saying, first of all, we've selected the search list facets, and from within that block of code we're excluding the header. So what we're basically doing is we're selecting, first of all, we're selecting this, and then we're removing that. So we then just get this bit here. Okay. So that's the next step. Now we've got a variable out here called outfile, and that's set to temp bbc-search.html, and we need to use a temporary HTML page because when you sort of output this code, it's going to output as actual HTML, raw HTML, the source, and there isn't a way to tell w3m to toggle the source to view the actual HTML, as a page. So that's why we create this out file, because we're going to be saving the code in a temporary file in our temp folder. So we've selected something on the page, we've pruned it. Now what we're going to be doing is running this through sed, and rather than running 3 sed commands, what we're doing is we're using the -e option, which allows us to specify multiple commands to run with sed. So we're just running sed once and then executing multiple commands rather than running sed 3 times. So first of all, what we need to do is fix the links. So as I showed you, the links in this page are relative links. Just clicked on that. Inspect. You can see here, relative link. Okay, iPlayer, episode. So what we need to do is we need to append the domain to any of these links. And the easiest way to do that, we've said, is we know we're not going to have /iplayer/ in the actual search results text. So what I'm doing is I'm basically searching for iPlayer like that, and then I'm just replacing it with the full URL. Now the next one, it was really complicated to work out. What we're doing in this line is actually adding the play. So let me just open this up. This section here, play. So we've got 2 links here. We've got play, and then we've got view all episodes. And we don't want to insert the play bit of text before the view all episodes. So we just want to be able to target this. So this, let me describe how this works. First of all, we're searching for a beginning of an ahref tag, left sudo and a. And then what we're doing is we're searching for href. And what we're doing is we're searching for href, double quotes, and then the path to the episode. And then what we're doing is there's that, and we then match ahead. We're matching for anything but the left bracket, left angle bracket, or whatever it's called, and inserting play, because these URLs are different. If I can come across, you can see here episode, BBC iPlayer episode, whereas this link here is episodes. So that allows us to differentiate between this link and this link based on the URL. So what we can do is we can just say search for all the links that contain episode and then something. And what we're then doing is, as I said, those links are basically empty href links. So what we're doing is we're basically adding play in those empty href links. Now the next thing that we needed to do was on the search is for the pagination. You can see we've got the pagination down here, and if we look at these URLs, we can see iplayer search question mark q equals and then films and page 2. So what we needed to do was in the text, because we're using a sort of redirector and stuff, it kind of strips off part of the URL. So what would happen is, before this bit gets processed, we'd just have as the link question mark q equals films, for example. We wouldn't have iplayer search question mark q equals films. So what we're doing is we search for question mark q equals, and we replace that with the full search. And so what that then does is that allows these pagination links to work. Okay, loading. Okay, you can see, and we're still on the same page. You can see what you see. We're still on BBC search. Okay, so that's how we get all the pagination links to work. And then finally, what we've got down here is the w3m control. So what we're doing is the way this works is the site configuration intercepts the URL and sends it to this CGI script. We haven't got a way to run another CGI script after this, so you can't actually use w3m view to toggle the HTML source to a page. What we have to do is create a temporary file and then tell w3m go to that temporary file. So out file here corresponds to out file up here, which is temp bbc-search.html. So we run the web page through this block of code and save it to a temporary to this out file in our temp folder. We then tell w3m go to that file, and what we then do is we delete the previous buffer, because when you run a CGI script, what happens is it actually creates a temporary buffer page that says like output of shell command. So what we're doing is we delete that buffer, and that allows us to, for instance, we can go back. See how I can go back pages. If we didn't have that, what would happen is every time I tried to go back, you'd go back to a blank page saying output of shell command. So that's how we do that. And then at the end, I'm just clearing the screen because sometimes I had an issue with it. My terminal's sort of displaying stuff, from a previous command or something. So I'm just clearing the screen to make sure it all looks nice. So that's the search. So again, we've got the base URL. We've got the query string using the query string variable, which we then turn into a URL. And that URL will then correspond to the search URL. We then had our CSS selector. So again, what we had to do was we came through and we clicked on the bit we want. Okay, inspect element. We move up here and we can see that's the whole block we want. Yeah, so this bit here, we then copied the CSS selector, and again the you have to if it's like div.list or whatever, you have it like that. But if you don't have, if it was .list.search, you remove the dot. So that was the first thing, selecting the actual bit of the page we want to work on. Then we wanted to exclude this bit. So again, we copied the copy the CSS Selector. And again, we remove the dot from that, so we got the page, the bit of page we're selecting, the bit we're excluding, out file, and we normalize the HTML, pipe it into hxselect, and we select the first element. So we select that bit of page. Then we prune it, so we then prune the search list header. So we prune that bit out. Then after that, we're running it through sed, and again, one sed command using the -e option allows us to run multiple commands one after the other, rather than running sed 3 times. So again, first of all we're searching for iPlayer, making sure it's got a full URL. We then, with this long complex bit of code, we search for all the links that are episode links and add play. And then finally, we search for the query string, q equals, and replace that with a full query string. And then we save that to out file. And again, then we tell w3m to go to that out file and delete the previous buffer and clear the screen. And that's the search script. So what I'm going to do now is come across to the next one, which is the episode script. This is slightly different, the way the search. So you've got two things. You've got search results from the built-in search thing. And that's how we match the search results. Then we've got the episodes, where we want to reformat this page. So this is slightly different, and what I'm doing is using some code I used before in my scripts, and this is using the built-in variables from w3m, which are w3m current link and w3m URL, which corresponds to the page. So that's the link under the cursor, and that's the page. And so this basically just allows us to check what kind of link it is and create a variable from that. So if it's a link we're following, it's going to be current w3m current link. Otherwise, if it's just a page you're on, it's w3m URL. And basically what we do is we're just saying URL equals, here what we're doing is we're checking if URL, which is defined up here, current link, is empty or not, and then we just, if it's not empty, we set it to URL, but if it is empty, we set URL to equal the page. And that's how we can deal with actually intercepting this page. So we don't use the queries, we use the query string for the search results, and we use a different technique for this page. So after that, what we're doing is we're doing pretty much the same deal. We're creating a selector for the page, and this is going to be this here, div.tleo-list. So what I want to be able to do is, I can click up here, do inspect element. What we're going to do is just come across, so we match that section, so you can see here. As I move up and down here, you can see the page elements being selected. So if I scroll down, you can see that selects this bit of the page. Okay, so that's what we want. So first of all, we copied the CSS Selector, and we're putting that in there. What we then want to do is exclude. We're excluding a bit of the page, and what we're doing is, as I showed you before, on these, if I've got back here, these, if I can just come across and inspect this, let me just open this up and search for where the bloody thing is. I think it's the next one down, actually, content info. So what you see here is you've got these two sections here. If I expand these, vampires plan a lavish blood feast for their masters from the old country. And if I do this, you see that's the duplicate. Okay, so we've got a duplicate bit of text here, so we need to basically figure out a way to remove that. And what we're doing is we're searching for content item underscore underscore info underscore secondary, and that's this one here. So we've got a primary one and a secondary one, so we're matching this secondary one to remove it. So that's the secondary thing, and then we've got the out file variable, and so same kind of deal here. Same with the code. We first normalize the page, so we normalize the URL. We pipe it into hxselect, and we match the CSS variable, which is up here. So that corresponds. So basically, what we're doing is copying that whole chunk of the page, and then what we're doing is we're pruning it. We're pruning out the secondary variable which corresponds to that CSS selector with the duplicate text. Then we're running it through sed. Again, we're fixing links because the links are relative, and we're viewing this in a local web page, so we need to have absolute links. We're doing the same thing for the episodes link there, and we then redirect that out into the out file, which is going to be bbc-episodes.html. So we've got two different web pages. Got temp bbc-search.html for the search results, and temp bbc-episodes.html for the episodes pages. Then the same deal down here. We go to the temporary web page, delete the previous buffer, and then clear the screen. So let's have a look at how these look again. So what I'll do is I'll just come across and show you from the beginning how these look without any work on them, and then I'll add the code. Oh shit. I'll re-enable the code. So comment those out and come back. So right, I'll go through these web pages and just show you. Okay, so by default, this is what it's going to look like. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Finally get to this tiny bit of text. That's all we want there. You can see how much crap there is before we actually get to it. Okay. And then if I view the episodes again, there's no actual link here, no text for the link. You can see. If I come across the view episodes, same deal. And then I come down here and look what I'm saying. No play button, no link here, and this duplicate text, which is shit. Okay, it's not. It makes it so much harder to read that having that duplicate text there. So that's that, and then I'll come across to the films again till we finally get us down to this section. Again, no link to click on. And see, the pagination is not at the bottom of the page, so it's easy to go past it like that. Across the next one, and you've got to go down again like that. Okay, rubbish. So let's deal with that. Let's re-enable this. Let the magic begin. Bang! How much nicer is that? Showing search results for what we do in the shadow, so we can see right at the top. That's all we need to know. Okay, that's the search results. That's the thing. I can just press return on that, play it. I can see all the text here, and then go to the episodes. Bang! Comedy. What we do in the shadows. Some nice text explaining what the series is about. And if you haven't seen what we do in the shadows, the film or the series, then you should have a look because it's funny as fuck. So now what we've got is, first of all, we've got play here. So this is showing the first, the pilot. And then we've got the navigation for series 1 and 2. Again, look how much better this is. We can just tab between these. We've got the play button, the play text. No duplicate text. So how much easier is that to read than having all that duplicate text? And look, that's the end of the web page. That's it. That's the end of the web page. Just the section we want. And again, let me come across to films. So I'm using surfraw with a iplayer elvi I created. And I just type films. Clear that. Showing search results for films. Right at the top, just where you want it. Just tab. And we can click play. We can just, I can do that. Or I can just press return. Tab. View all episodes. And see how when I'm going between these sections, because we're capturing the URL each time we go to any section of the BBC episodes. Yeah, anytime we go to anything episodes, it's going to redirect to the script. Yeah, so search results episodes, and it's going to redirect. I can go back, and I can come down here. And you can see I've got the pagination at the bottom. That's the end of the page. No more scrolling off the page, and I can come down, bang, next. So this is the second page. And I can go to the end here. I can go next. So super easy to use. And one thing I should cover is there's no images, and I think it's down to the way the BBC does their images. If you actually look at the code, it's sort of like using no script and CSS selectors and stuff. So that's why I think we're not actually getting the images, but it's not too much of a deal. So I could search for, of course, iPlayer, Blackadder. Bang. Your episodes. Really Blackadder. 26 episodes. And I've got all the. So I'm on the first series here. There's the first series. I'm across the second series. I'm on the second series now. See how fast that was. I'm going to go Blackadder third. Dishonesty. See? That's the entire web page. And if I just run the iPlayer search elvi without searching for anything, it's going to take me to the iPlayer site, and you can see I can browse the site normally, and it's not sort of intercepting anything. It's only when we go to those particular URLs, either search or episodes, that's going to intercept it and reformat it. So basically what that allows you to do is to create readability modes for w3m per site and per section for search results and for different sections of a web page, and also be able to launch the videos using the same technique. So what I'll do is just go across how we set this up. So that's the technique that we're using. That's the tools we're using, html-utils. I just exit this, exit, and search html-utils. I thought that was what it's called. What's it called? I'll put a link to what it's actually called, but hx, you can see here all these hx commands we've got, like extract, clean, copy, normalize, prune. Those are all commands, and I'll try and remember what the name of the package is. But basically, this is the w3m site config. So in my site config, the first one's just for Google to set the user agent to links. What I've done in previous videos will show you how to remove the Google redirect from search links, automatically open YouTube links with w3m just by clicking on them. Same with Dailymotion, and same with BBC iPlayer. So any link for iPlayer episode, whatever, click it, opens with MPV on your second display, full screen. Then we've got the new section down here, the iPlayer search results. So basically we're intercepting this particular URL, search question mark, and we're then substituting a URL which is a path to a CGI script. So that's the BBC search CGI script. And the interesting thing is you need the question mark. The file name doesn't have a question mark in it, but in the siteconfig you put a question mark there. And you put a question mark for the search, but not for the episodes, because the episode page doesn't have a question mark in the URL. So that's the search URL in the script and the episode URL in the script. And then we've got our CGI bin where we've got the BBC episode and the BBC search. So just one last time, quick recap. Where we did this, base URL is iPlayer search question mark. iPlayer search question mark. We don't use the q equals, okay? When you're doing this, you don't have the q equals, you just have the search question mark. So that's that, and then we use the w3m query string variable to get the query we're passing to this search engine, in this case our local CGI script, and we then create a URL which is the base URL in the query. We ran our CSS Selector. Remember, we looked at the page, we did inspect element, figured out the bit of page we want, copied the CSS Selector. Then from within that selection there may be things we want to exclude, so we can create a list of CSS selectors to exclude. And again, remember, you have to remove the period from the class name. Then we got the out file, which is the name of the file we're going to save this to. We then run hxnormalize to clean the web page up, select the part of the web page, prune it, run it through sed to fix the links, dump it to a temporary to our temp folder into the BBC search.html file. Go to that file, delete the previous buffer, and clear the screen. So that's that one. And then we've got episodes. And again, this is different in that we're first of all checking the URL, current link, or the page. We set the URL variable to equal whatever it is. Again, we select the bit of the web page we want, inspect element, copy the CSS selector, and from within that selection, we remove the duplicate text links under the description for the video by copying that CSS selector, create the out file, and same deal, normalize the page, select it, prune it, run it through sed, dump it to our temp folder as bbc-episodes.html, w3m, go to that page, delete your previous buffer, and clear the screen. So that's how we can reclaim the web using w3m and creating readability mode per section, per site, rather than like using stuff like Gopher, which kind of seems to be popular now. You can actually do the same thing because there's nothing on Gopher. I mean, seriously, I mean, you're not going to really use that. So rather than going down that route, why not actually work with the modern web and just hack it to do what we want? Just say, no, I don't want all that crap. Just select the bit you want and then serve it up to yourself. So that's like an equivalent of a CSS style sheet per section of a website, but w3m doesn't have CSS support, so again, we can just clean all this up. We can remove that. We can just select the bit of the page we want, like this. And again, iplayer. Let's do Blackadder again. I'm going to open a. So let's just compare this. So if I just search for, say, Blackadder. This is the web page. Back across to here, we've got search results for Blackadder. Showing search results for Blackadder. So we've stripped out all that crap at the bottom. So we just got the middle section. Go play, and then we can come to the view the episodes. How much nicer is that? So let's come across to the view all episodes page here. So comedy Blackadder, description. Click here to view the first episode, and then we got all that there. So that's the first series, second series, third series, fourth series, and that basically is what we've got here. Comedy section we're in, Blackadder. Play the first episode. Got all the links down here with the nice play. Remove the duplicate text, so that's so much easier. And that's the page. That's the whole page. What's there? That's it. There's no more scrolling. Isn't that great? We just stripped out all the crap, just what we want, using a couple of scripts and a text file, our site config. So I can just click play, you know, full screen video, whatever. I can just press return. So that's so much nicer and easier to use. And this technique can be used just to clean up your favorite websites that you visit a lot in w3m and make them all bearable rather than all that scrolling I showed you. So that's just super nice. Bang, how quick is that? And again, you can just go tab, press return. You can also, as I showed you, not only can you just click return on these to play them, you can do it for multiple things and queue them up and play them sequentially one after the other. So that's how we can create our own web pages from websites, to strip out all the crap to what we want for both search results and different sections of a site. But that's all for now, and have a play around with that and see what you can come up with.